Ladies and gentlemen, India has warned Nepal against making unjustified and catastrophic false assertions on Indian territory. Now, you don't have to be an expert in foreign affairs to see the clear China hand in this provocation. China is using Nepal, no doubt about it. Let's debate.
On the 8th of May, Defence Minister Rajnath Singh, along with CDS General Bipin Rawat and Army Chief General Naravne, inaugurated the much-awaited link pass to Mansarovar Yatra via the Lipu Lake Pass. And Nepal is now protesting this move by wrongly claiming the regions of Lipu Lake, Kalapani and Limpi Yadura in its own map. China, that is using its strong arm tactics at the line of actual control, seems to be egging on India's old friend Nepal. And falling into this Chinese trap is Bollywood actor Manisha Koirala. Having worked on the Indian soil for her entire life, the 90s actor wants a three-party dialogue. Here's what she tweeted. Thank you for keeping the dignity of our small nation. We are looking forward for a peaceful and respectful dialogue between all three great nations now. And playing into China's hands is also the Vajra Congress. They're blaming the Indian government for China's dirty politics. Cornered on the global platform over COVID investigation, it seems China wants to get back at India by using its neighbours. Shouldn't those living and earning in India take a stand for India's sovereignty at this time? Let's debate.
Ladies and gentlemen, on this debate, I am joined by Minendra Rijal, member of the House of Representatives of Nepal's Parliament, former Minister of Information and Technology in Nepal. Mr. Minendra Rijal, thank you for joining me. We're also joined by Subash Ghimire, he's Editor-in-Chief of the Republica Daily from Kathmandu, and Prakash Rimal, Editor of the Himalayan Times, also from Kathmandu. Thank you very much, Prakash ji, Subash, for joining me. On the Indian side, we have Sushant Sareen, General G.D. Bakshi. Sushant Sareen is Senior Fellow at the Observer Research Foundation. General G.D. Bakshi is a well-known strategic affairs writer and editor of the Indian Military Review, and Syed Zafar Islam, spokesperson of the BJP. Thank you, gentlemen. I would like to start by asking you, Mr. Rijal.
Yes.
That you must understand, and I don't want to be giving gratuitous advice to you, maybe General Bakshi can debate this with you better, but China is nobody's friend. China is alone in the world now. In the world community, China is alone. You are also very aware that this sudden interest in Indian territory, it's laughable. You are, of course, an important nation, but if you think you're squaring off with India on border issues, you should be dreaming. It's never going to happen. We're not going to talk to you about it. But I only wanted to start by telling you this, that the Lipu Lake Pass in Kalapani, which is in Indian territory, is a very important vantage point for India to keep an eye on Chinese movements. So strategically, we keep an eye on Chinese movements for a long time. Yeah, let me complete my question, sir. My question is, China, I believe that you are just being egged on by China. China is using you because Lipu Lake Pass in Kalapani is an important strategic point for India to keep an eye on Chinese movements, right, for a long time, for more than 40, 50 years, right? You must not compromise the India-Nepal friendship just to give China a small strategic advantage. Also, personally, I am of the view that it makes Nepal look like a, what you call a rentier state of China. You need not take Chinese foreign policy as your own interests, and you should not aggravate the situation with India. Now, you are free to make your point. Yes, go ahead, sir.
First of all, I mean, the way you're saying me, it sounds like you're giving me a statement, giving me a message. That's certainly not the style how television interviews are done in Nepal. First of all, I mean, if you ask me where Nepal stands, what are the facts, how we think this should be resolved, and then I'll be able to answer that question. I very strongly would like to put this fact that the border issue is an outstanding issue. India is committed to resolve this through bilateral means, diplomatic means. This is precisely what your government has said. I mean, when we sent a note that the foreign secretaries of both sides should hold meeting, hold consultation, the letter that we received was once two nations and two societies are done dealing with the challenges of the COVID-19 crisis, then two countries can sit down. We have said, I mean, this can be done even earlier. So I would not like to incite this further, but the thing is, we have said very clearly that we would like to present all the evidences that are there, and then government of India can also produce its evidences.
No.
Both sides can sit down and talk,
sir,
and then this could be resolved.
You know, that way with
China is not doing, and what I should do and what I
yeah.
should not do. This is not what you should be saying. You should be
Minendra,
asking my
Mr.
opinion.
Rijal,
You may disagree with me.
Mr.
That's
Rijal,
a
let me
different
tell you
thing.
what is offensive. I am being very subtle and very polite. On the other hand, may I tell you
No,
what
you are
is
not.
may
No, you are not.
I tell you what is offensive? I'll give you an example. And I don't know how interviews are done in Nepal, but I know how they are done in India. This is how we do it. Your country's Prime Minister has said.
Look, first of all, let me make it very clear that if we do not respect as people of two different nations, if we do not respect each other as individuals who have their views,
So the comment from the,
then we probably would not have a very nice conversation. We have to be very clear on that.
Yeah, but the problem is that your Prime Minister
when you
said,
say you should do it, you should do this.
Okay, so I'll get you into the debate with General Bakshi.
Me.
I'll get you into the debate with General Bakshi. But I'll tell you this,
of course,
that your country's Prime Minister said that the coronavirus strain coming from India is more lethal than the coronavirus strain coming from China. Can you explain this? What kind of a comment is that?
First, look.
Why did he say that?
Look, I will. Can I answer your question?
Yeah, sure.
First of all, the government, the Prime Minister, and there are issues that we differ. We are in the opposition, he is in the government, there might be issues, the way this is presented, there could be differences. But the thing is, on the border issue, we're together. On the border issue, we fully support the position Prime Minister has taken. How he presents it is his style. Different leaders in the world
I was just very intrigued. I was just very intrigued that, and now I hand over to GD Bakshi and Sushant and others who want to debate with you. I was just very intrigued. What is the epidemiological or scientific basis?
Mr. Arnab,
you see, Mr. Rijal,
have patience to listen to
Mr. Rijal, can I make one point, and I'm going to listen to you. But I want to know, how did the Nepalese Prime Minister say that the China coronavirus strain is good, but the India coronavirus strain is bad? I mean, it's crazy.
I am not
Why
an
is he
expert
making
in
this
corona.
comment?
I cannot answer your question.
It's a pattern, I see.
I approve of Prime Minister. Hang on. I approve Prime Minister position on the border issue. I approve. Have full support for
what's happened, and why are you bent on spoiling the relationship?
That's none of my business.
So why are you? All Indians are asking you. We like Nepal. We've had good relations with Nepal. Narendra Modi went to Nepal. What has come over Nepal? You suddenly want to fight with India? I mean, I don't know what's going on. Okay. Let GD Bakshi respond to you, sir, now, please.
Okay, but let me make one point. Please, let's respect each other. We are people of two different nations. There are the border issue is an outstanding issue. I should not be telling what you should be doing. You cannot be telling me what I should be doing.
No, you do what is in your best interest, but think of the long-term consequences.
Yes, of course.
Yes, General Bakshi.
Yes, of course.
I would like to state to my Nepalese friends, as the Indian Army sees it, we have the rishta of roti beti with the people of Nepal, right? Very few, no other country we have this. I would go a step further. I would say that we have the rishta of blood, khoon. Gurkha soldiers, Gurkha boys in our Gurkha regiments have fought in each and every one of the wars that we fought with Pakistan, with China. They have shed blood for our country. We especially in the Indian army and the Indian nation, will never forget this. Please understand this. Please understand this. I think we
Yes.
did a, let me speak to you very,
thank you for
very
saying so.
frankly. Thank you. I am telling you very, very frankly, in our Congress era, we Indians have scored a self-goal by helping the Maoists come to power in Kathmandu. Look what they have done to you and what they have done to our relations, right? Relations which was so deep, so fraternal. Nobody needs a passport from Nepal to come to India and vice versa, right? Does it happen with every country? We have a fraternal, deep relation. At one time, you were the only Hindu country in the world. You were one of the bastions of our culture. We are astounded. We have been taken aback that you are siding with China, and I will give you the reason for it, please. Let me be frank and talk as friends, can talk frankly to one another.
Can I respond to that?
Can I just finish?
General, can I respond to that?
I'll just finish.
Yeah.
Then I would love to hear you. I would love to hear you. I would
okay.
you with the fullest respect. I am saying, a month plus back, there was a political crisis in Nepal. With due apologies, because of the corruption of the present government, a lot of your legislators were upset and the government almost fell. You remember that? That was the time. Let me be blunt and straightforward. The Chinese came to the rescue of the present establishment. They rescued you. Well, they paid a lot of people. They paid look, let's talk honestly, because friends can be very straightforward. They paid the present government and they are now under duress to raise the border issue. You think we are going to fight with you? It is beneath the Indian army. And the Indian army is not interested in fighting with you, especially when the road which you are talking of, as it is west of the river, of the Kali River, Mahakali River.
Can I now,
the only question is,
respond to that?
Okay. Please.
Can I respond to that? First, I agree with you. Nepal and India have a special relationship. I do not agree that China has to do anything with what happens here. I do not agree this probably you can say for the public consumption in India. I can understand that. But the thing is,
can I give you an evidence of that?
India has its own position. Nepal has its own position. Eminent Persons Group has identified this point as outstanding border
No, it's
point.
not. No. Which eminent persons group, sir?
Both sides have agreed.
Which eminent persons group, sir? One second. Which eminent persons group, I may ask you?
Nepal has not taken any.
Which eminent persons group?
You're stopping me only. If you do not let me speak,
sir, I'm known to ask counter questions, Mister. I don't understand why.
No.
Do I have to be subservient to you?
Let me first respond to.
Do I have to be subservient to you?
If you do not, please, Arnav, if you do not let me respond to Mr. Baxi, then there is absolutely no point of having me on the television.
No, but am I not allowed to counter you on anything?
Do not let me respond to that, then why do you have me on the television? Can I respond to Mr. Baxi's point of view?
Mm-hmm.
Can I or not?
Now go on, but I also have a right to respond to you if you're factually incorrect. That's all I'm saying.
Of course, you made a lot of points. I have not been able to respond to you also. You've said Nepal has taken unilateral action. No, Nepal has not taken unilateral action. Mr. Baxi said Prime Minister has taken certain positions. I cannot defend how he is running the government. I am opposition. There are certain things on which only people from his party.
Tell me one thing. Now I want to counter you, sir. Sir, now I want to counter you, sir. Do I have the permission to counter you? You made your point. I want to counter you, and there are other panelists. Sushant also wants to counter you. Explain to me one thing. Sir, I'll tell you one thing, Mr. Rijal. I show no disrespect. But I am not a believer in diplomatic extrasensory perception. I am not a believer in geostrategic telepathy. And I'll tell you why. I will prove to you on my program that you are acting as Chinese puppets. Don't mind the straightforward language I use. I'll tell you why. Because What you are saying, your eminent persons group and all did, is something that China announced on the 9th of August 2017. What are you saying, sir? Can China, how did China read your mind? And allow me to give you the example of this. Let me elucidate this. Let me elucidate this, sir. So with the respect to you, I want to elucidate it. I want to elucidate it. I want to elucidate it. I want to elaborate on it. I want to explain to you. I want to explain to you. I want to explain to you, not with the intention to corner you, sir. I need to explain to you. I need to explain to you one statement. One statement, Mr. Rijal. One statement, sir. One statement, sir. One statement. Wang Wenli. Wang Wenli is a Chinese official. In 2017, India and China were locked in eyeball-to-eyeball situation in Doklam, okay, in Sikkim. China eventually retreated because there was such massive mobilization on the Indian side. They realized. Now let me tell you, listen to the full story. Listen to this. Mr. Renji, please listen. Let me complete. I request you to let me complete. I'll take 10 more seconds. At that time, you know what the Chinese said? The Chinese said the following. What will New Delhi do? We have been defeated in Doklam, okay. But what will you do if we enter through the Kalapani region of Nepal? You go and check. How did the Chinese say that in 2017?
You're just making it up.
I am not making it up, sir. You are astonishingly unaware on this. This is a comment made by Wang Wenli, Deputy Director General of the Boundary and Ocean Affairs, speaking in response to External Affairs Minister then Sushma Swaraj.
Not how it's done.
Sir,
I very strongly resent it. You're making your point of view.
I am asking you, I am only asking you, sir, how did the Chinese read your mind?
Are you asking or are you making a statement?
How did the Chinese read your mind? Question. Not statement, question. How did the Chinese read your mind? Question, no statement. How did the Chinese read your mind?
You're making a statement.
I am asking a question. How did the Chinese raise the Kalapani issue 3 years back?
First of all, I mean, you have to understand our two governments, government of Nepal and government of India, at the secretary level have agreed that this is an outstanding issue. We have agreed that we will attend to it. And government of India has said that after the two countries are done dealing with the corona crisis,
we're not going to talk
secretary level meeting can be held.
No, sir.
And government of India has said that we are ready and willing to
look at
we're not going to talk. And we are ready
Okay, Mr. Rijal, Sushant Sareen wants to respond to you. Sushant Sareen, please.
So look, I think what Mr. Rijal is saying, I completely disagree. Number one, he keeps talking about respect. What is the kind of respect his Prime Minister is showing to India? Forget this business. And if these guys feel so strongly and they think because Nepal has such a strong scientific base that they figured out that the coronavirus which is coming from India and India has spread the coronavirus in Nepal, then they should block the borders. They should stop all contact with us, for all I care.
Yeah,
stop all contact. The kind of language the Prime Minister uses, he uses the Ashoka emblem of ours and he takes a dig at us. Is this what good friends are supposed to do? And it's very clear, look, in Nepal, there have been always two strands of opinion. There are people like this clown Oli who think that they will be able to validate their rule by abusing India, by seeming to be standing up to India. What side deals they want to cut for themselves and for their cronies is another matter. But they want to show to their people and mislead their people that they are standing up to India, that India is the big ogre. Do these guys have the guts to say something similar about China when the Chinese finger them? Now suddenly, and Arnab, let me tell you this, for Nepal, this has been an old kind of attack. Under King Minendra, what they used to do is that they used to play the fiddle with the Pakistanis because they thought that the Pakistanis will be able to, in a sense, defend them. The Pakistanis will be a foil for them as a counterbalancing force. After 1971, they suddenly smelled the coffee, that this won't happen anymore. So then they again backed off. They have tried to do it with Nepal in the early 90s, late 80s, early 90s. You know, when they started getting into a defense relationship with the Chinese. This is what they did at that point of time. Again, they backed off from that. Now suddenly they see China as this big counterpoint to India, and they think that they can press India. They think that they can finger India. And that is what they've been trying to do. So this Kala Pani thing, every time the government gets into a bit of a tangle, they start raising this Kala Pani issue. Now this issue is not a new one.
Prakash,
it's been a very old, outstanding issue.
Prakash or Subash?
What they have done recently, is this the way to do it? And if this is the language they are going to use...
I'd like Prakash or Subash to respond to that. Prakash, Rimal, editor of Himalayan Times, and Subash Ghimire, editor-in-chief of Republica Daily. I want to tell you, Mr. Rijal, let me tell you one thing. Can I say one thing to you? Can I, sir, please. Sir,
you have to give me 30 seconds to respond.
But there are three panelists who have not spoken. Mr. Rijal, you're being extremely unfair.
If you ask me to defend everything the way government runs here, I'm not the right person.
But what language does your Prime Minister use?
Political party of the government. But on this issue, on the border issue, we are united with the Prime Minister. But there are many other issues we differ with the Prime Minister. But on border issue, we are together. So there are certain issues that you've raised that does not deal with...
Okay, we have Syed Zafar Islam responding from the Indian side. He's a spokesperson of the BJP. Mr. Syed Zafar Islam, along with Subash or Prakash Rimal. I want to tell you one thing, Mr. Minendra Rijal. I have great affection, we have great affection for the people of Nepal. Personally, I do. I have had the great opportunity to report in your country at a tumultuous time, post the unfortunate events which happened in the then royal family. Mr. Rijal, are you hearing me? You know, so we've seen the violence then on the streets of Kathmandu. We've seen what I saw then was that anyway, anytime there's trouble in Nepal, there are motivated people who try to create, Mr. Rijal, please, there are motivated people who try to distract attention. I'm saying this to you, Mr. Rijal, as a well-wisher. There are motivated people in your country, Chinese lobbies, who try to use, whenever there's an internal problem, try and direct the anger towards India. We need to have a long-term relationship, a fruitful relationship, and I am very happy to inform you that even during the 1962 war with China, sir, I want to tell you this, even during the 1962 war with China, we deployed Indo-Tibetan border police personnel, our paramilitary personnel at Kalapani at an observation post. So history, please, you can't change. Syed wants to make a point to the two journalists in Nepal, sir.
Listen to this.
Sir, let the others come in. Mr. Rijal, let's be fair.
Mr.
Rijal, let others come in.
You have spoken enough.
Mr. Rijal, please.
I cannot defend my time.
Mr. Rijal, please.
On the border issue,
Mr. Rijal, let's get Prakash and Subash Ghimire also on the debate.
First of all, I would like to say to all the friends from Nepal, all three friends of Nepal, that we do not really appreciate the statement made by your Prime Minister. This was totally uncalled for, because the kind of statement is definitely does not suit the Prime Minister, and this kind of a statement should have not been spoken, because we enjoy a very good relationship with Nepal. We really respect our friendship, and certainly we were not expecting this kind of a statement from the Prime Minister of Nepal. Having said that, let me also make it absolutely clear. Our position is absolutely clear. Allow me to complete and then you can speak. Our position is absolutely clear. There is no dispute here that this is our territory, and we need not even want to discuss or engage you on this particular issue. That is something which has already been clarified to you time and again, and this has been also clarified today by the spokesperson of Ministry of External Affairs. This is not an issue, and if you want to raise it at the behest of someone else, it is totally uncalled for. All I want to tell you that we enjoy a good relationship. You are a good neighbor. Let's stay a good neighbor. Do not raise issue which is totally, you will not get any engagement from our country, and you are raising issue which will not get any endorsement from your own many of your own countrymen. So please do not do something in haste at the behest of some other country who has to serve their own interests, and at the cost of our relationship with you or your relationship with our country, a good relation which you enjoy for ages. And I also
Subash, who wants to come in. Subash,
as the opposition leader, that you must
Subash, as one journalist to another, and also as one Indian to a Nepali citizen. I am a citizen of India and you are a citizen of Nepal. I just want to share one thing with you. One point I want to make to you today. You see, our view is that you should not fall for the China trap, because our view is that you can't trust the Chinese. See, globally, any African country which has done business with China has regretted it. The South Americans regret it. A relationship with the Chinese never ends well. and never doesn't last. You know that China just last week on their China Global Television Network, you know what they said? They said that Mount Everest is located entirely in China-occupied Tibet, despite an agreement in 1960 saying Mount Everest is coming under Nepal territory. You know, I'm just sharing this with you because you know well enough that nobody can trust the Chinese. They are nobody's friends. Yes, please, you wanted to make a point.
So this all started in November 2019 when India issued a new map. So, you know, Nepal has been claiming Kalapani and Limpiyatura for the ages. And if you go back to the history and look at the map from 1827 to 1860, 70, you know, it's pretty clear. So I think the facts are there. The important part right now is, you know, for two countries to sit down and resolve this issue.
We won't sit with you on this.
What Nepalese feel...
We will not discuss our territory with you. Tomorrow you can say that Mumbai is Nepal territory. Tomorrow you will say Delhi is Nepal's territory. We won't discuss with you. I mean, a point is that there's nothing to discuss. We won't discuss. So, pointless, no?
So
you'll only end up upsetting the Indians.
I think the Indian media is going crazy with the China factor, but the fact on the ground is that, you know, Kalapani has been established without doubt that it is Nepal territory. So when the Indians came in 1962, they never
Tell me one thing. Who hacked 200 Nepalese websites? You know what the Chinese did? They hate the Nepalese. They used Huawei to hack all your websites. They hacked your government websites. You forgot that? They hacked all government websites. I'd like, okay, let's get Prakash Rimal on it. Prakash, who hacked all government websites?
I just want to respond very quickly to that.
No, I'm saying they are not your friends.
Because I think if we just...
They are not your friends. They have encroached Nepalese land in Sanku Wasaba, Rasua, Humla, in the guise of road projects. They have taken your land. When you arrested 122 Chinese for criminal activities, including banking frauds, they issued travel documents to you. They forced Nepal to letting them off. This country, Prakash ji, can never be Nepal's friend. What are you doing? Why are you spoiling a long-standing good relationship with India? What are you gaining? I want to understand. What are you gaining?
Okay. Number one, Arnabji, thank you for having me on this show.
My pleasure.
You know, it's we also want, and we have had very long historical, cultural, you know, civilizational relationship with India since ages. Okay, it's not that Nepal wants a bad relationship, you know, or Nepal wants a better relationship with China at the cost of India. It's not at all that. Let us not mix. Let's not mix up everything, you know. Lumping, you know, the issue at the moment is over a dispute. I mean, until not long ago, India said, you know, it's a disputed territory between Nepal and India.
No, it's not.
And then it took.
When have we said that? When have we said that?
Unilateral decision. There have been plenty of times we've approached to try to bring these border issues on the table, but, you know, because Nepal was so persistent on these border issues, you know, even the bilateral mechanisms that we have set up, they have virtually stopped working.
Sir, I'm only asking you, sir, please understand, Chinese have been making claims that Mount Everest is part of China and not Nepal. The Chinese are trying to leverage control over Nepal, and the Nepalese are trying to fend them off by taking a more hardline anti-India position. They are playing you, sir. Sushant, they are putting pressure on Nepal, and Nepal is trying to make them happy by taking this position on Kalapani. Eventually, how will this end? Sushant, you must tell our Nepalese friends, eventually how will it end for Nepal?
Look, it clearly it won't end well. And we've seen this. You know, you're talking about what has happened in Africa. You're talking, let's talk about the debt trap diplomacy. All these nice, fancy white elephant projects which the Chinese are, promising to Nepal.
I mean,
who's going to pay for it?
Let's not.
Does the Nepalese economy have the wherewithal to pay for those billions of dollars which the Chinese are promising to invest out there? There's no way they can pay for it.
These are absolutely different
and none of it is coming gratis.
Okay, Prakash is responding. Prakash ji, yes, please. Prakash ji.
The CGTN has
Prakash Rimal wants to counter you.
Has been part of Nepal.
Our friend from Nepal wants to counter you. Let him.
The Chinese will say, just like they've done in the South China Sea.
Let him counter you.
Actually, Mount Everest was always a part of Nepal. Part of China.
Prakash ji, yes.
How the Chinese,
Prakash and GD Bakshi,
some convoluted logic that they want to continue to, take shots at
Prakash
India
ji, go on.
because it gives them some kind of legitimacy in their own country.
But then, it's disturbing because you have the other, panelists speaking from that end. Let's not lump things together. We, like we appreciate it, that the general narrative in India is that Nepal is now acting at the behest of China,
so it's
which
a global
is an insult. It's a global. Maybe it's a global narrative, but it's a narrative being manufactured.
Why are you
in
doing
India.
that? You are too great a nation to be a Chinese pawn.
Please let me, sir. Please let me complete my sentence. Okay, I'm also a journalist, so if you ask a question, you should allow me also the time to respond to it. Right? See, if you say Nepal is acting in the interest of China, that's an insult. That's an insult.
It's a reality,
on people, on the conscience of people like me. And there are, mind you, close to 30 million Nepalis with conscience.
Kindly tell me, Prakash ji, answer the question that I asked our friend, Minendra Rijal at the start. What the position you are taking is the known Chinese position enunciated by the Chinese government in 2017 as a threat to India during the Doklam crisis. They said we will use Kalapani. I was only very interested to know, how did the Chinese read your mind 3 years back? See, you are not doing this independently is well known. Okay, Subash, tell me. Subash, tell me. Subash, tell me. Don't take offense. Subash, tell me. I'm hearing. Subash, tell me. Subash, tell me. Subash, tell me. Yeah.
Okay, first of all, Arnav, I don't know, first of all, where you got that fact that,
I have got this fact. I'm quoting. I will send you details after the program. I will send you details after the program of the Chinese official who said that.
I'm hearing this. So I'm hearing for the first time, but the fact is, I think we are diverting from the main issue. The main issue is that two countries contend this piece of land that has to be resolved. I think that we are missing, missing that.
The Chinese want...
It cannot be resolved at the instigation of the Chinese.
If we say that everything that Nepal does is because of China, then we are missing the whole point here.
At the instigation of the Chinese. Can I just answer you? Look, my friend, we are well aware of the political developments in Nepal in the recent months. We are not blind. The whole world is watching that. The whole world saw how there was a government almost being brought down by the legislators because of the corrupt practices of the present regime. Right? The people of Nepal were fed
Mr.
up.
Rijal.
They wanted him out. He saved his skin by going to the Chinese. The Chinese purchased.
Sir, this, GD Bakshi, GD, I bring Minendra Rijal into the debate. Let me tell you, Mr. Rijal, you are a good opposition leader in the Nepalese House of Representatives of their federal parliament. You are a member of the House of Representatives of Nepal's federal parliament. We respect you, but it is my responsibility to share something very important with you. If you don't mind, I will take 30 seconds to share it with you. I will just 30 seconds, sir. Please don't mind. I'm sharing this with you.
Okay, I will wait.
Sir, let me tell you what your government is doing, which is wrong. And I'll take 30 seconds, sir. Sir, you are trying to keep the Chinese happy by attacking India on issues like Kalapani because of two reasons. One, you can use this as a rationale to argue with the Chinese on their stake in Everest, on which the Chinese are also building a Huawei 5G tower. A. B. You are hoping that this will save your economy that will be badly hit after COVID, because you have a landlocked country. You are trying to increase the use of Chinese ports to export your goods to the rest of the world while reducing your dependence on India. My own view is, if I can summarize, this is a very short-term perspective. The Chinese know that your economy is going to come under pressure after COVID. They are putting pressure on you. They are compromising your sovereignty. I would only request you, sir, as will, I'm sure, the representative of the BJP, don't fall for this trap.
Now can I say something?
Please.
First, let's first respect that we are
Rijal,
people from two different nations. Okay, it's my turn to say. We're people from two different nations. We have our own perspective. You have your perspective. We know this is an outstanding issue. Governments of two countries can sit down and resolve it. This can be resolved between two countries diplomatically. Nepal and India have been very good friends. But as far as Nepal is concerned, our relationship with China is concerned, we decide who our friends are. You don't decide who our friends are, who our foes are. India is very important to us. China also is a very important country. We know the importance of our relationship with India. We know the importance of our relationship with China. So you do not decide
respond to you, Mr. Rijal?
You can't play both ways.
Respond to you, please.
You can't play both ways.
Mr. Rijal, let me tell you, you said this issue can be discussed between the two countries. Let me tell you, you are a friendly country, but still, I must make it absolutely clear that we cannot engage you on this issue. This is a border issue maybe for you. For us, it's a settled issue. It's not an issue at all. Our stand is absolutely loud and clear.
That's your point of view.
Our stated position in front of No, that's not our point of view. That's our country has made it absolutely clear to the Nepali leadership time and again. If you want to do it just to please some other country, it is not good for our relationship. Must respect
I request
our relationship. We enjoy a good.
In fact, let me tell you one thing. Let me tell you one thing, sir. Let me tell you, Mr. Rijal, I completely endorse what Zafar Islam has said. I'll give 10 seconds to GD Bakshi. He's very, very senior man. He knows Nepal well. But very briefly, sir, you want to say something to our friends from Nepal?
Yes. You know, we will always treat Nepal as a younger brother, as a blood relation. But I will not say that for the Chinese. We fought a war with that country. That country has been breathing down our neck.
Yes.
And I'm very sorry. Any collusion with that country will not go down well with the people of India.
Thank you very much, everyone. I think we should keep the conversation going. I have enjoyed the conversation with our friends from Nepal, including, I must say, the very feisty member of the House of Representatives, Mr. Rijal. I will get you on more debates. To Subash, Ghimire and Prakash, Rimal, who are leading journalists in Nepal, I thank you very much. Please remember, sir, we are friends. We are brothers. The Chinese can never be your friends, leave alone be your brothers. I thank you very much for joining me on this debate. Thank you.